In the winter of 1978, in Argentina, amidst the political turmoil and suffocation of the military regime, football became the painkiller, the only hope of an entire nation. In the El Monumental Stadium, filled with white pieces of paper, papelitos flying like snow, the Argentine team, La Albiceleste, wrote a fairy tale when they lifted the World Cup for the first time. With a fiery attacking style of play, imbued with the philosophy of El Flaco, Cesar Luis Menotti, they defeated the Netherlands in a dramatic final to become the new kings. But when the final whistle blew, when the confetti was swept away, the heroes of that year returned to real life. Nearly half a century has passed. Time has drawn different fates for the 22 golden boys of that year. Some became legends on the coaching bench, some lived in seclusion in the countryside, and some have forever become stars in the Buenos Aires sky. Let's listen to their life stories. Ubaldo Fillol. The first name to come to mind is the goalkeeper. The nickname El Pato, the Duck, is closely associated with him. In 1978, at the age of 27, Fillol was not only in goal but also a guardian angel in the legendary green shirt. With his excellent reflexes and ability to block seemingly impossible shots, especially the save with his foot against Rob Rensenbrink's shot, he became the best goalkeeper in the tournament. Moreover, he was a solid mental support for a defense that was always ready to push forward. After his peak in 1978, Fillol continued his illustrious journey through big clubs such as River Plate, Atletico Madrid, and Flamengo. He played persistently until the age of 40 before taking off his gloves. El Pato's life off the pitch was closely linked to his work as a goalkeeper coach. He devoted all his heart to passing on his skills to the younger generation at River Plate and the national team. In real life, Fillol is a quiet, serious but emotional man. He has experienced major events, such as having his World Cup championship medal stolen from him at his own home, a pain that devastated him, but he overcame it when he found the souvenir. Today, at the age of 73, Ubaldo Fillol still lives with a burning passion for football. He often appears in the media to analyze the goalkeeper position. Although his hair has turned gray, the sharp eyes of the duck of the past are still intact. He is still a living monument, a standard measure for all future Argentine goalkeepers. Luis Galvan. The center-back partnered Passarella, but if Passarella was fire, Galvan was water. At 30, he exuded calm and charisma on the pitch. His excellent reading of the game meant Galvan rarely had to make mistakes. In the tense final, his calmness was a solid anchor that kept Argentina from being swept away by the chaos of emotions. Unlike many of his teammates who chose the limelight, Galvan chose an extremely private life after retirement. He spent most of his career with Talleres de Córdoba, becoming a legend of this club. After hanging up his boots, he did not pursue a professional coaching career but returned to work with youth football and community projects in his hometown. He once opened a football school where he taught children not only how to play football but also how to be good people. His life passed peacefully with his family, away from the noise of the Buenos Aires media. His humility on the pitch translated perfectly into his personal life. He was a quiet hero who believed that a man's worth lay not in fame but in peace of mind. Now, at the age of 76, Luis Galvan is enjoying his retirement in Córdoba, still respectfully called Mr. Football by the locals. Americo Gallego, El Tolo, 23, is the steel shield in front of the defense. If the artists above do the embroidery, Gallego does the cleaning. His style of play is based on strength, aggression, and excellent one-on-one ability. He is the bodyguard of Kempes and Ardiles, the man willing to do the quietest work to help the team win. Gallego's coaching career was even more brilliant than his playing career. He was one of Argentina's most successful managers, winning national championships with 4 different clubs: River Plate, Independiente, Newell's Old Boys, and Toluca in Mexico. His coaching style was as fiery and pragmatic as his playing style. Gallego was a straightforward, hot-tempered man, but was respected by his students for his fairness. In real life, El Tolo is an emotional person, always oriented towards his family. After years of fighting on the coaching bench full of pressure, he chose to retire. Currently, at the age of 68, Americo Gallego is enjoying retirement. Although he no longer appears much in the media, the legacy of tactics and fighting spirit that he left behind is still a great lesson for future generations of defensive midfielders. Osvaldo Ossi Ardiles, 25, is the epitome of sophistication and intelligence. His diminutive stature dictates the game with his technical prowess and tactical insight, providing a smooth link between defense and attack. Immediately after the World Cup, he and Ricky Villa moved to Tottenham Hotspur, creating a cultural sensation in England and paving the way for foreign players to come to the land of fog. Alberto Tarantini, nicknamed Conejo, the Rabbit, was the wildest man in the squad that year. At 22, with his signature curly hair and big teeth, Tarantini played with endless energy. What was special was that he played in the 1978 World Cup while unemployed, not belonging to any club due to a contract dispute with Boca Juniors. But on the field, he went back and forth like a shuttle, and the goal against Peru was proof of his explosiveness. After the World Cup, Tarantini made a bold move, moving to England to play for Birmingham City, then returning to River Plate. Conejo's life off the field was as noisy and wild as his hair. He was known as a playboy, involved in scandals and a party lifestyle. However, over time, Tarantini gradually calmed down. He participated in reality TV shows, worked as a commentator, and always kept his humor and satire. The wildness of youth has given way to the contemplation of old age, but the weird quality remains. Today, at 68, Alberto Tarantini remains a beloved figure among the Argentine public for his straightforward, unpretentious personality. He lives happily, often recounting behind-the-scenes anecdotes of 1978 with a hearty laugh. After the tournament, Luque continued to play for River Plate and several other clubs before retiring. He chose a simple life in Mendoza, away from the hustle and bustle of the capital. He worked to find young talent, lived in harmony, and was loved by everyone for his gentle, honest personality. He once said that the Gold Cup could not make up for the loss of a loved one, but it was a comfort for his brother's soul. Luque lived a decent life, always cherishing every day he lived. However, the journey of this resilient warrior had to stop because of an invisible enemy. On February 15, 2021, Leopoldo Luque passed away at the age of 71 after a long battle with COVID-19. His passing in the midst of the pandemic left behind endless sorrow. But the story of his extraordinary willpower in the summer of 1978 will forever be an immortal song of sacrifice. Daniel Bertoni, 23, was the perfect partner for Kempes. He had speed, technique, and a sharp finish. It was Bertoni who scored the 3-1 extra-time winner in the final, extinguishing any Dutch hopes. The number 4 shirt, as it was alphabetical, on the back of a winger, became an interesting image of history. Rene Houseman. The then 26-year-old right-back was one of those underrated players who played a vital role. Initially a center-back, Olguin was moved to right-back under Menotti and performed his duties brilliantly thanks to his tactical acumen. He was not the type of full-back who would attack or defend with much fanfare, but he was a solid stopper, allowing the midfielders in front to play creatively. Olguin's career spanned San Lorenzo, Independiente, and Argentinos Juniors. He is one of the few players to have won the Copa Libertadores with different clubs. After retiring, Olguin coached in a variety of places, from small teams in Argentina to Costa Rica and Japan. He was a hard worker, not looking for fame, always remaining as professional and dedicated as he played. In real life, Olguin is a family man, living a simple and private life. He rarely appears in grand celebrations, preferring a quiet life to the flashbulbs. Currently, at the age of 72, Rene Olguin is still healthy, occasionally attending the former players' matches and enjoying the joy of being with his children and grandchildren, satisfied with the legacy of a loyal guardian. Mario Kempes. The striker is a name that cannot be ignored when talking about Argentina 1978. The nickname El Matador is associated with him. At the age of 23, with his long, romantic hair and magical legs, Kempes became the soul and the heartbeat of the entire team, scoring 6 goals, including a double in the final match. He won the title of top scorer and best player of the tournament. Kempes was a national hero, making millions of Argentine hearts burst with joy. Kempes' club career was a long journey from Valencia, where he was revered as a living god, to adventures in Austria, Chile, and even Indonesia before retiring at the age of 41. Kempes tried his hand at coaching off the pitch, but without much success. However, he found his second stage in the commentary booth. His deep, emotional voice and sharp analysis on ESPN have become familiar to Latin American audiences over the years. Kempes also faced death when he had to undergo serious heart surgery in 2014, but the bravery of a gladiator helped him overcome the disease. Today, at the age of 69, Mario Kempes lives happily in the U.S., working and enjoying the role of a living legend, a global ambassador of Argentine football. Daniel Passarella, El Gran Capitán, the great captain. At 25, he was the undisputed leader of the team, With his fiery eyes, fierce style of play, and fearsome scoring ability as a defender, Passarella was the epitome of uncompromising fighting spirit. He was the only Argentinian player to be part of both the 1978 and 1986 World Cup winning squads, an unprecedented feat. Passarella's career was an epic one, with brilliant success at River Plate, Fiorentina, and Inter Milan. After retiring, he became a talented coach, leading the Argentina and Uruguay national teams and River Plate. His peak was when he became president of River Plate. However, his life was also full of tragedy and turmoil. He suffered the pain of losing his son Sebastian in a traffic accident, a wound that never healed. His time as president ended in controversy when River Plate was relegated, turning him from hero to the center of criticism. In recent years, the old general's life has become more difficult than ever. He is battling a neurodegenerative disease similar to Alzheimer's/Parkinson's, which gradually causes his memory and cognition to fade. The image of the former steel captain, now fragile in the face of illness, makes fans feel heartbroken. At the age of 70, Passarella is living a quiet life, cared for by his family, wrapping up a glorious but also tragic life. Ardiles' life in England was an emotional one, especially during the Falklands/Malvinas War between England and Argentina in 1982. He was torn between his two homelands, the country where he was born and the country where he was loved. Ardiles also became famous for his role in the film Escape to Victory with Sylvester Stallone and Pelé. After retiring, he had a long coaching career in England and Japan. In 2014, he was involved in a serious traffic accident on the Falklands Islands while filming a documentary but luckily survived. His sharpness and resilience on the pitch helped Ardiles overcome political upheavals and everyday accidents. Today, at the age of 71, Osvaldo Ardiles still lives in England, a legendary ambassador for Tottenham Hotspur. He is respected as a gentleman who used football to heal the wounds of war. Leopoldo Luque, 29, was a true warrior with a bleeding heart at the 1978 World Cup. He was a classic striker, strong, good at pressing and versatile in finishing. But few people know that during the tournament, his younger brother passed away in a tragic traffic accident on the way to watch him play. Luque suppressed his pain, played with a dislocated arm, scored 4 important goals, including a beautiful long-range shot against France. His tears after the championship were tears of glory mixed with personal tragedy. After the World Cup, Bertoni moved to Italy to play very successfully for Fiorentina and Napoli, where he played alongside Maradona. When he retired, he became a famous player agent and commentator. Bertoni's life was very rich and fulfilling. He knew how to enjoy life, was stylish, and always maintained his elegant style. He also actively participated in charity activities and was a commercial bridge between Italian and Argentine football. Bertoni's career and life are a model of complete success. He has not encountered too many storms, knows how to invest and maintain his image. Currently, at the age of 68, Daniel Bertoni is living the life of a successful businessman, but in the eyes of fans, he is still the young striker with the decisive shot of the year. Oscar Ortiz, 25, is the team's skillful left winger. Wearing the number 16 shirt, Ortiz is a pure winger. He sticks to the touchline, dribbles skillfully, and crosses accurately. Although not as famous as Kempes or Bertoni, Ortiz's role in stretching the opposition's formation is irreplaceable in Menotti's scheme. After the 1978 glory, Ortiz continued to play for River Plate, Huracan, and Independiente. However, he retired quite early at the age of 30. Unlike many of his teammates, Ortiz chose to disappear completely from the football world. He did not coach, did not work as a commentator, and rarely gave interviews. He chose a normal life, doing small business and devoting all his time to his family. Ortiz's choice reflects his style of play, efficient but unpretentious. He is content to be an ordinary husband, father, and grandfather. Now, at 70, Oscar Ortiz lives out his days in Buenos Aires, a world champion happy in obscurity. Jose Daniel Valencia, 22, is known as Coach Menotti's favorite child. Small in stature but extremely agile and intelligent, Valencia, nicknamed El Rana, the Frog, is a game-changer. He is a symbol of Cordoba football, a birthplace of football artists. Although controversially chosen to start instead of Bocini or Alonso, Valencia has proven his worth with diligence and creativity. Valencia spent his entire career at Talleres de Cordoba. He loved his homeland so much that he turned down Real Madrid's offer to move to Europe to stay in Argentina. After retiring, he continued to live and work in Cordoba, participating in youth training and serving as an ambassador for the club. His life was filled with laughter and love from the local people. He was a simple man, full of affection, always appreciating his roots. Now 68, José Daniel Valencia remains an idol in Córdoba. He lives a simple life, regularly organizing friendly matches and telling children about the glory days of 1978. Rene Houseman, El Loco, the Madman, is Argentina's most eccentric football genius. At 24, Houseman has such good feet that people call him the Garrincha of tango. Raised in a villa miseria, Houseman plays football with wild instinct, full of improvisation and without following any rules. He is pure joy on the pitch, a man who can dribble past opposing defenses just because he likes it. But Houseman's life was a tragedy of self-destruction. He became a heavy drinker even when he was still playing. After the glory of the World Cup, his career went downhill due to his promiscuous lifestyle. He returned to the slums, lived in poverty, but was always protected by the people. Houseman was a man of the people. He did not care about fame or fortune, and was willing to drink with anyone who recognized him. Despite his difficult life, the innocent smile of a child never left his lips. That freedom and debauchery followed him until the end of his life. But the human body has its limits. The evil tongue cancer attacked him. On March 22, 2018, Rene Houseman passed away at the age of 64. The departure of the madman made the whole of Argentina cry. His legacy was not only the championship, but also the image of a broken angel who played football just to find joy in the midst of a stormy life. Omar La Rosa, one of the team's veterans at the age of 30, came off the bench in the final, and it was his composure and experience that helped Argentina regain control of the game against the Orange Storm. La Rosa is a hard-working, unpretentious, but extremely effective midfielder who knows how to control the tempo when the team needs it most. After the World Cup, he continued playing for a few years before moving into coaching, often as an assistant. He was the right-hand man for many famous coaches. La Rosa lived a very private life. He was a family man, disciplined and responsible. He found joy in quietly passing on his experience to the next generation. Now, at the age of 76, Omar La Rosa has retired. He lives a leisurely life, enjoying his old age with his children and grandchildren, satisfied with his quiet but crucial contribution to the history of football in his country. Ricardo "Ricky" Villa, 25, with his trademark bushy beard, was another talented Argentine midfielder. Although he was not a regular starter at the World Cup due to injury and competition for places, Villa's talent was undeniable. Immediately after the tournament, he and Ardiles moved to Tottenham, where he became a legend with his solo goal in the 1981 FA Cup final, voted Wembley's goal of the century. Villa lived a rather secluded life after retiring. He returned to Argentina, bought a farm in the countryside and became a real farmer. He raised cattle, grew crops, and lived in harmony with nature. He rarely appeared in the media, but every time he returned to London, he was welcomed like a king. The contrast between the glamorous football star and the muddy farmer is the most interesting thing about Ricky Villa. Today, at the age of 71, Ricardo Villa is still living happily on his farm. He finds peace in the fields, away from the noise of the modern football world, keeping himself a free and open-minded soul. Norberto "Beto" Alonso, 25, is River Plate's #1 idol. Whether he should be benched for Kempes or Valencia is a subject of endless debate. Alonso wears the #1 shirt due to his A code, possesses superb technique and a magical left foot. Although his playing time has been limited due to injury, Alonso's class is a key piece in the championship-winning squad. After 1978, Alonso continued to win numerous titles with River Plate, becoming one of the greatest players in the club's history. After retiring, he became involved in football politics, management, and business. Alonso was known for his outspoken, sometimes arrogant, and opinionated personality. He was a big personality who never bowed his head. At the age of 71, Beto Alonso is still a very influential figure at River Plate. He regularly appears on commentary shows, giving sharp and thorny comments, living up to the temperament of a great star who never goes out of style. Miguel Oviedo, 27, is a versatile player for the team. Tall and strong, he can play as a defensive midfielder or a center-back. Oviedo is Menotti's strategic card to reinforce the defense when needed. His career is tied to Talleres de Córdoba, where he is considered a legend. After hanging up his boots, Oviedo shows a quiet life in his hometown of Córdoba. He worked for the local government in the community sports sector. He was a humble, dedicated man, always willing to help others. His life was not very turbulent, reflecting the certainty and security of his playing style. At 73, Miguel Oviedo is enjoying a peaceful retirement. He still maintains close contact with his former teammates, especially the group of players from Córdoba, reminiscing about old times together. Hector Bailey, 27, was Fillol's backup goalkeeper. Nicknamed Chocolate because of his dark skin, Bailey was one of the few notable black players in Argentine football history. Although he did not play a single minute at the 1978 World Cup, his professionalism and talent, he had been a great goalkeeper for Huracan and Talleres, were always appreciated by his teammates.